SCP-2966 Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2966 is to be contained at Outpost 117, and at no time shall any other SCP object be contained within it. A liquid fluoride thorium reactor is to be powered at all times, with the heat exchanged directly in thermodynamic contact with SCP-2966 housing. Before usage of SCP-2966, monitors will ensure that there are at least 2.04 times 10 to the 17th powered joules of magnetic heat energy available at the thermodynamically transfer into SCP-2966 housing. During use, this heat energy transfer will be carefully monitored to match the rate of the matter removal. A skeleton crew shall occupy Outpost 117 to minimize the risk of casualties. This crew shall consist of 3 personnel trained in maintenance and upkeep of liquid fluoride thorium reactor, 4 research personnel to monitor both SCP-2966 state and the state of the reactor, 2 4-man squads of security personnel to patrol the 25-kilometer perimeter around Outpost 117's location and deter civilian entrance, and 1 D-Class personnel to use SCP-2966. A D-Class shall use SCP-2966 3 times per day at 84 intervals, 0.800 hours, 1600 hours, and 2400 hours. As the removal of at least 10 sheets of SCP-2966. Use is to be heavily monitored and contact shall be kept with D-Class subjects at all times, in order to modulate the speed with which SCP-2966 is used. A regulator placed on the reactor shall accordingly adjust energy output to match the inevitable changes in the rates at which SCP-2966 is used. A scale attached to 29 SCP-66 housing shall determine the mass at all times and relays that information to monitoring staff. Construction of an airstrip for jet aircraft is currently undergoing evaluation as a possible means to escape should SCP-2966 reach the critical stage, as well as a means for connection to larger adjacent Foundation sites. Description: SCP-2966 is an anomalous roll of brand toilet paper. The roll currently averages a mass of around kilograms, though attempting to reduce this mass is discouraged as a result of Incident 2966-35A. Toilet paper sheets removed from SCP-2966 are, beyond being incredibly effective at removing stray fecal matter, non-anomalous and energetically stable. The roll section of SCP-2966 is housed in a steel container attached to a wall mounting, which has no means of accessing the roll for replacement or removal. Non-invasive testing of the housing has yielded no clear picture of what is inside the housing, and invasive testing is discouraged due to SCP-2966's volatile nature. In addition, the housing serves as the main heat sink for thermal transfer between SCP-2966 and the reactor. Damaging the thermodynamic connection may result in SCP-2966 going critical. SCP-2966 is anomalous in that it is effectively an infinite roll of toilet paper. Since containment started in approximately kilometers of toilet paper has been removed from SCP-2966. No means of inputting mass or more toilet paper has been observed, and testing has revealed no temporal retrieval of additional paper from different locations or dimensions. The mechanism by which SCP-2966 accomplishes this is entirely unknown, though its effects are well understood. SCP-2966 obeys the laws of mass energy conservation, and though unknown means absorbs energy from its surroundings in order to create the matter that makes up the toilet paper. One sheet of SCP-2966 weighs approximately 3 grams, which means that the approximatity of 2.04 times to the 16th joules of energy of roughly 65 tons of TNT is needed for one sheet of SCP-2966 to be produced. It's estimated that there are sheets formed inside the roll of SCP-2966 or a yield of megatons of TNT. If more than 10 sheets are removed at one time from SCP-2966, it will absorb the energy around roughly the rate at which sheets are removed. The form of energy absorbed is most often heat energy, though SCP-2966 does not appear to have a preference. Testing has shown that ambient sound energy has been decreased during use. Without an external source of energy to provide power to SCP-2966, the large amount of energy bringing the temperature is absorbed from the ambient heat of the surroundings, quickly bringing the temperature of all matter within the radius of meters to near absolute zero. This has happened twice during power failures. Both times, on-site staff have sacrificed themselves to remove 10 sheets, killing themselves through hypothermia instantly. While not a suitable containment solution, such a sacrifice has prevented SCP-2966 from going critical. If SCP-2966 is not used, it will begin to lose the matter it has gained, turned into energy once more at a rate given as use per second, where n is the number of minutes since last use. This energy is radiated away in the form of heat and occasionally alpha particles. The optimum balance between usage and the radiation has been determined to be slightly more than 8 hours. As this rate increased exponentially, SCP-2966 will reach a critical stage approximately after last used, in which the rate of energy radiation will rapidly approach infinity. Effectively, this results in SCP-2966 converting its remaining mass entirely to energy in an instant. This is estimated to produce roughly 1 times 10 joules of energy, or an explosion with a yield of megatons. Despite Outpost 117's remote location, a fully critical SCP-2966 situation is estimated to produce casualties in excess of what the Foundation is equipped to handle. During usage, SCP-2966 D-Class subjects have reported an occasional decrease in room temperature. D-Class have also reported that the paper removed from SCP-2966 is exceptionally comfortable, effective, and strong. Requests for sheets removed from SCP-2966 to be re-rolled and used at Foundation facilities have been denied. SCP-2966 was discovered after Foundation agents noticed anomalous temperature drops in California from data recorded by National Weather Service. A subsequent investigation by Mobile Task Force Theta-19 Rocketeers revealed that one Pine Range research had been frozen over in an area of about a square kilometer, despite it being a warm summer day. Data returned by the Mobile Task Force Theta-19 indicated that the temperature of the area has been approximately 908 degrees Celsius, far lower than any temperature naturally recorded on Earth. As to why the area was not absolute zero, research has suggested that the usage of SCP-2966 had occurred several hours earlier, in which the sun had the time to warm the area. Mobile Task Force Theta-19 breached the building and found that all present in the building had been killed as a result of the temperature drop. A researcher later identified as Dr. discovered apparently giving a demonstration to several others holding SCP-2966. The effects of SCP-2966 rendered all electronics within the site corrupted. Thus no data could be obtained as to how SCP-2966 was created. However, Mobile Task Force Theta 19 did discover a handwritten journal belonging to Dr. in his office, and while the pages were covered in frost, parts of the journal were recovered and able to be read. See document 2966-01. Several locals had noticed the rapid temperature drop. A cover story of a ruptured liquid nitrogen tank as decimated, and a Class A amnestic administered. SCP-2966 was studied in a situ in which the following hours after a secure perimeter had been established. Its properties determined and successfully contained. Document 2966-01. Date redacted.
We achieved a breakthrough in toilet paper technology. Not a single man will ever need to feel the burning pain of an unclean needle region ever again. Moreover, this will likely make me exceedingly rich. Once we figured out how to make other paper products like tissues and maybe even plates.
Date redacted.
A minor setback has occurred with the InfiniTP project. We can produce cellulose fibers fast enough to make a truly infinite roll. A possible solution is the liberal application of hafnium, otherwise known as cortinium. While exceedingly rare and expensive, sacrifices must be made in the pursuit of science. While others call me a fool, I should think that in this day and age, anyone with a doctorate should be able to understand others' work, even if it's in a different branch. That is just good science, if you can write it well enough for the layman to understand. Who cares that I'm a botanist? I should be able to decipher Doctor's paper on quaternium.
Note: no such element known as quaternium exists.
The housing is complete. We added the initial paper, and soon the quaternium alloy will be complete for insertion into the hyperbaric containment field. Of course, the iota arrays have proven themselves to be an issue, but they don't terribly hamper the production of fermion pairs.
Note: the rest of the entry is illegible. Date redacted.
It appears the threshold energy for fermion pair production is slightly higher than my calculations suggest. No matter, I'll just rework the calculations with Fermi estimation, and that should put us in a good place to test tomorrow. Soon, the world will never need toilet paper again.
Note: after this entry are several partially legible equations. Through hand calculations, these were done by the Foundation physicists, were the same constants, which revealed Dr. had apparently misplaced the square in E is mc squared early in his work. This led to some subsequently lower energies than in reality, possibly reinforcing Dr. idea that he could create matter from energy safely. Incident 2966-45A. On test 2966-45A was conducted in attempt to see if a reduction of mass could be achieved by rapid removal of SCP-2966 sheets while supplying an excess of energy. This resulted in SCP-2966 immediately going critical. The subsequent energy release by the 10th Joule destroyed Outpost 117 and resulted in casualties. Due to Outpost 117's remote location, no non-Foundation casualties were reported. SCP-2966 was recovered unharmed and weighed grams less. Outpost 117 has since been rebuilt and containment re-established. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. If you enjoy SCP, maybe you'll enjoy our own universe, the Association of Ishtar. A link to our wiki can be found down below.